Folks, thanks for coming on the line with us today. My name's John Dubois. I'm one of the Vice Presidents for Agent Success with Premier Marketing. We'll be spending the next half hour or so going over a basic, simple concept of marketing your community for homegrown leads, in essence. This is a program that can be very helpful for those who have designated a target area and wish to access all of the centers of influence for that particular area. If you are engaged in a retail program with one of the different carriers or the Walmart program or whichever, or you've chosen to establish a center of influence that acts as your base of operation in a particular area, or if you have an office, a retail office, and you want to make certain that you maximize the exposure and the lead flow that comes to you through your location, this is a simplified guide in order to help you do just that. One of the things that we run across a lot is the fact that, well, we can never have enough leads, can we? And it's a question then of how we can do some things on a cost-effective basis and grow our own. Coming from a farming background, this is one of the things that requires a little bit of patience, but with the right type of care and the right type of approach, it can be very successful for you. So once you've determined a opportunity, we're going to look to drive traffic to a geographic destination. And as I mentioned, those folks who have a retail spot in play, obviously you're not yet, for the most part, in those retail locations. So now is the perfect time to plan as to how you can maximize that location. If you're in a retail situation with Humana, you're paying $500 for that store with the hopes of getting half of it back should you successfully complete their requirements. And there are other particular carriers that may lend a location without additional cost, but you may share it with another agent or be on your own, in a manner of speaking, and marketing to it. So this is going to help you with those types of situations. It's important to note that no matter what we do, we're not putting all of our eggs in one basket. And this is a system that looks to reach out and exercise different means of leveraging and maximizing lead flow in an area. So let's basically implement some steps. We're going to identify an area, and this may be as simple as the store that you have selected through a retail program, your base office, and think of how the product portfolio that you offer applies to that particular area. There are folks that will go into a high-income area and obviously look to market perhaps financial planning services, estate planning, annuities, or high-ticket life insurance programs, and that approach may well work in a high-income area or in an area with high traffic where you're drawing the audience. If, however, you are looking to concentrate on the dual SNP market, obviously, you want to go to where the food is there too, and look at your agreed marketing procedures versus where you are located. Once you've selected that central point of activity, we keep in mind why you've selected that area. First off, there are certain programs where some agents aren't comfortable with them. Some agents are not comfortable working with doctors. They're just not comfortable with that conversation. They're not comfortable with high-income people because they, for one reason or another, don't have the confidence to do so or don't feel they have the products to do so. There are agents that will not want to work the dual special needs market because those individuals may not have the income to purchase additional products outside of that specialized SNP product for the dual market. So what we want to make certain that we do is we've laid our plans out and we're marketing appropriately. And the area that we selected fits that particular demographic. There are also the opportunities that you have to kind of shift your focus as the year goes through. As we approach open enrollment, the annual election period, we're going to see obviously a much more varied activity where many products may come into play, but there are periods of time such as now where we're looking to market perhaps agents or specialty products such as ancillary products like dental programs or critical illness programs, and we can utilize our location by simply changing our approach in the signage and the different marketing material we're using to draw our audience. Once we've established that center of influence, we then examine the area, normally within a 5-mile radius of our location, and look for different centers of influence. Since a lot of what we're doing here is referring to the retail marketing piece that you can modify for other centers of influence, we look for folks that serve or are frequented most frequently with the senior population. So that may include churches and other faith-based organizations in a particular area, senior centers that attend to that population, nutrition sites, what I refer to as Blue Hair Heaven restaurants, folks that attend a particular or go to and frequent a particular restaurant because it suits their style of food, and then of course different provider sites. And the provider sites may extend well beyond just primary care physicians. There may be specialists in the area. You may have an opportunity with different dentists that are located within your area that you're targeting. You may also have providers that perhaps cater to the senior population, such as hearing aid sites or other types of people who cater to the same population you have. One thing that's not on this sheet that you may consider is your brethren within the insurance community. There are certain property and casualty agents that don't deal with the Medicare market, and that might be a suitable partner for you to switch referrals back and forth. There may also be such agents that deal with just life insurance or are working with long-term care, certain targeted niches within the community that you can share leads with. Once we've identified those particular locations, it enables us to then visit those locales with our marketing material. There are several carriers out there now that have approved pieces that are generic in nature that will refer to things in terms of just Medicare education. Are you having changes in your current healthcare situation? And these allow you to modify those pieces compliantly with your contact information and perhaps even your address. And in certain circumstances, many of these companies now enable you to put your picture on the flyer, which is strongly recommended if you are looking to brand yourself in a community. This then helps drive the traffic to your hub that you have chosen and publicize your site. You have a number of approaches that you can use when you visit these centers of influence as well. If they are a location that would allow you to do a seminar type of presentation, you have a number of different topics that you can dwell on, that you can present, including some basics on Medicare 101 cases. If you're contracted with United Healthcare, their Medicare Made Clear series are phenomenal. We have different programs that we present on a number of different topics that include Social Security, final expense pre-planning, different programs of that nature that can help a person with the topic that is top of mind at the time: low-income subsidy Medicare savings programs, how people can qualify for additional assistance, and it leverages the ability that you have where you can visit with them in a group setting. You can set up a camp at one of these particular locations or drive them to the location that you have selected as your focal point in the community to act as your office. Once again, some of those different topics that are available, explanation of different pieces of the Medicare benefit packages, Medicare 101, Medicare Advantage, Med Sups, Part D, the assistance programs, final expense, life insurance, and charitable bequests. It is a bit of a challenge for us to sometimes keep our perspective, because if we speak to Medicare time and time again, we feel fairly comfortable with it, and we begin to believe other people will have that same level of understanding as we do. It doesn't work that way. Any of these subtopics of Medicare, particularly at this point in time of the year, can be a strong draw in the community, because it's not that easy a subject at first view, and folks need help working through the intricacies of the systems that are involved in the delivery of that care. So we're going to plant some seeds. If you go into the faith-based community, you have a number of programs that are applicable for a group delivery or setting up a camp where you're publicizing your presence at the church and they can come visit you. Obviously, this entails an appeal to the church leadership, and obviously you have to, in essence, sell them of the benefits of what you're doing. But we have actually a training program specifically set up for that teaches you or helps walk you through the steps of approaching faith-based organizations and securing event times and space to do so. And it goes beyond just the Medicare topics. If you think of the faith-based families that folks have, it involves perhaps someone looking to establish a legacy within the community, so life insurance can come into play. Sometimes it's just the basics of final expense and pre-planning. The legacy safeguard system that our organization offers is an incredible tool to use in that segment, and it is utilizing a trusted piece of the community that enables you to reach a portion of the population that may not respond to direct mail. We have a program that speaks to how to do that as well, but sometimes folks just, well, sometimes you get into your mailbox and you kind of wonder, is there any real mail anymore, or is everything an advertisement? Direct mail has its place, but it by itself may not be the best way for you to go and putting all your eggs in that basket. There are folks that won't respond to television ads or radio advertisements, but they will respond to events at their church. They're comfortable in that trusted environment, and when you establish the value of what you have to offer to church leadership, in many circumstances, they will allow such an event. It is interesting to note, too, that many faith-based organizations have a venue for the senior population or a senior group. One of the churches I attended in my past is an organization where the senior group was called Golden Saints. Kind of a unique way of labeling something, but larger churches will have groups that cater to a certain portion of the population, and that can be important for you. And once you establish your relationship and your reputation within that community, it, like any other type of sales circumstance, can lead to referrals to similar organizations, much as what happens when you go into a church and they send you, or to a home and they send you to additional people that you can help as well. Big thing there is asking. You can discover these locations. churchangel.com is a great place to go and find these folks within these organizations within a parameter of your target market. And then, of course, you have the other areas of influence, such as senior centers, which schedule regular events and may give you an opportunity to present most of the time, and now it seems like in a non-sales circumstance, but an informational piece where you can do follow-up and make certain that you address the needs that are identified by the presentation you initially present. If you target the lower income population, Food pantries and nutrition assistance sites are a great place to go to volunteer, to become part of who you are, but also to reach out to a section of the population that really needs our help. Additionally, in many circumstances, we have to go to where people live, worship, or seek care. Well, in many circumstances, the older population may be in subsidized housing, and those sites, too, may offer you a venue to do group presentations. It is very important that you cater your approach appropriately to these sites, since, boy, we're not the first person with this idea, but going in and making certain that you have an established program that's of value to the organization can make all the difference as to whether or not you're approved for your marketing efforts in that locale. One of the things that some folks will also access is adult daycare facilities in order to get in front of the population. This can work twofold. A lot of times when you deal with these organizations, you're working it backwards, in a manner of speaking, to go to the decision makers that are taking care of folks that may need your help to help them with healthcare circumstances, but it also gives you an opportunity to work backwards yet with the decision makers, the caregivers, as to their own circumstances, because they'll be very aware of the need for longer short-term care or certain critical illness programs that you may have as part of your portfolio that you're using as a way to complement the other services you offer. A great center of influence in the community, obviously, are providers. They're an important point of influence for the patients. They can be even more influential than family members. We actually had a presentation yesterday on marketing to the provider community that will be used as part of the follow-up to today's presentation. But this goes beyond the doctor and the stethoscope. This goes into the pharmacists that actively serve the community year-round. Keep in mind year-round, so it's not just a retail initiative during open enrollment period. It's also a means for you to identify dentists that are available in your community that serve the population, but serve it a little bit differently than you see with a doctor. Many of these folks are dealing on a cash basis, a fee-for-service type of basis, and the ancillary programs that you have with standalone dental programs can be of great help, not only to the folks accessing the care, but also help the dentist with their accounts receivable. It's really important that as you map out your site and then you go to these different locations, that you track your activity and you keep a journal of what you do. So if you were in a Walmart on Main Street and you've worked the community around it in a 4 to 5 mile radius, and you have a number of locations that you've publicized that you're going to be in that retail locale on certain days and times, these flyers give you the capability of doing that. It gives you then the opportunity to go back and visit with the manager of your chosen hub. So if you're working in a pharmacy in a Walmart, you go to the chief pharmacist and you say, hey, this is some of the things I'm doing in the community to drive business to you. Here's a sample of the flyer we're using. Here's a listing of the locations where we're looking to drive folks to your store to take advantage of your services. Please keep me in mind when someone is asking for help for you. And one of the things that we can do as well is make certain that you have us as a resource as people come and visit. So it's a great way to establish a reciprocal relationship with management of a particular location, and they're going to look at you a little bit differently than perhaps an agent that worked the store the year before who just came and sat and read a book. You're in there to drive business, you're in there to actively market, and the folks in the store realize the value that you're bringing with your presence in that location. You've got a number of different options of where you can access assistance. If you're working a retail situation and you have Well, for example, in Walmart, where they're asking you to have the top 3 carriers in the market there for you, look to those carriers for assistance. Walmart is very particular about having branded material out, but you have to have it with you. And making certain that you have the material in order to properly market is a great way to make certain that you maximize the opportunity that you are paying for in that store. It's also important to note that the folks that you contract through, organizations like ours, many times have assistance programs and training programs that can help you be as effective as possible in those stores as well, or in a different marketing location. And accessing that resource is really, really, really important for your success. So what you've done is planned a different type of approach where you're utilizing resources from the community, from the carriers with whom you contract, and the organizations with whom you contract through. Nice thing about being an independent insurance agent is you got a whole bunch of programs that you can access and make certain that you're diversifying your income streams and making certain that you're prepared to handle the needs that are brought to you through the people that you visit with and that you meet. This includes a full portfolio of individual health programs with Medicare programs, life insurance, long and short-term care, different ancillary products that can help you serve the needs of the folks that you visit with, satisfy the hot spot that you have, and then create them as a client so you can do the regular reviews that allow you to bring additional pieces of business to your agency and satisfy the needs of the folks with whom you visit. What do you get out of a program like this? Well, it's an opportunity to run across sales opportunities now. Here in Dallas, we've gone through an interesting stretch of a heat wave with well in the triple digits, and that means you can just sit and hear the electric meter spin. We need to do things now that give us an opportunity to earn dollars now as well. It also gets you out in the community and it establishes you as a subject matter expert in your target market. That lends to different referral opportunities and a chance to not only sell now, but get a head start of filling that pipeline for the near future. There's an old expression of when all is said and done, more is said than done. Well, establishing a marketing plan now for AEP is crucial for your success. Utilizing a system like this where you've established a point, a geographic point that you're using as your base of operations and working out from it gives you a system to use that enables you to reach as many folks as possible and do so effectively and efficiently. You just basically got to make certain that you've selected both a site that is within the realm of what you want to market and is effective for what you're looking to market as well. Once you've made that decision, we'd love the opportunity to visit with you and help make you successful in that initiative. What you have here is the contact information for our organization, 1-800-365-8208. We'll be able to direct you to your marketer that you may be working with. If you're not working with someone right now, this is the contact information for our folks here in the Dallas office. We'd look forward to the opportunity of visiting with you and seeing how we could be of assistance to you in the very near future. That said, I want to thank you for spending some time on the line with us today. We'll be sending you some follow-up information on the different grassroots marketing campaigns that we have in play, some recording links to other presentations in addition to this one, and we'll be reaching out to you to see if additional product for your portfolio or additional marketing initiatives would help you reach your goals. Thanks so much for visiting with us this time, and we look forward to talking with you in the very near future. Thanks so much. Happy selling.